In the last 6 or 8 years, I've planted tulips in front of my house because I don't really have a front yard, and I found out that I like them, but the real motivation is that other people really like them.
And you've got a dream that's turning into a reality, and I, especially now. I mean, I think this. I'm excited, just as you've described what you want to do here.
Yeah, well, I found this company called Color Blends, and you should go on their website. They're all out for this year, but next year you could order from them. And they're a big tulip importer in Connecticut, I believe, but they get all their tulips from Holland. And they come in these beautiful European bags. This is 100 tulips. So I started ordering from them, and I'm realizing that people really love them. So at one point I thought, well, if X number of tulips makes people happy, what if we multiplied the number of tulips? You know, is there a limit on the happy?
I don't think there is. And
I don't think there is either.
And I think there's
that's my working hypothesis. So this next year, I've gone from about 1,000 tulips in my yard to last year we probably planted 3,000 or 4,000 on 6 or 7 little houses on Caroline Street. And it became a nice walking destination for people who were, you know, locked down with the beginnings of the COVID. And so it started some of us thinking that what if we really did it and planted the whole street of Lower Caroline? Because it's always been a nice place for people to walk with strollers and kids.
Yeah.
And I just have a feeling that the tulips can really enhance it. And so I ordered all different colors and blends, and I got the opinions of some of the homeowners about what their preferences were in terms of color. Many people said, surprise me, you know, whatever you'd like to do. Many people donated money to offset the cost of the tulips. And that goes to the next point, which is hopefully it can turn into a fundraiser for Downtown Greens, because we didn't have our Down Home Ball and we didn't have our Fork It Over Festival. And, you know, all the nonprofits could use some help. So hopefully it can be a quick $2 or $5 donation from a little sign in front of these houses if people are inclined to support our local community garden.
It could be a little tulip festival in Fredericksburg.
Yeah.
Well, and there's something about tulips when there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
They're nice as they are, and when you're talking about thousands, that's a lot.
And they're planted to where they're touching each other in the ground, and that makes them come up really thick, and that provides the biggest visual impact. Although some neighbors said, I'd like some little clumps of tulips, which is a new kind of a thing that we're trying this year too, which I think will be really nice.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't have to be the whole, yard like I like to plant them. Clumps here and there.
Is this the time of year, Tim, that you start planting tulips?
Ideally, you start in about November, but November and December in Virginia are fine. And I just got the last ones in here yesterday in the middle of January, and that seems kind of late, but they usually know what to do. They have all of the nutrition they need inside the bulb. So they're just growing roots and getting ready to come up in February and March, and then the bloom is the middle of April mostly. And a lot of places we planted, this is called red yellow cube, and it's a red and yellow tulip that looks like a flame, but it's early, middle, and late. So you get the early blooming and the middle and the late blooming. So in a bag of 100, there'll be about 30 of each. And what it does is it just extends the fun time for when the tulips are in bloom.
When will we first start seeing them come up? Sometime in March? Early March?
Yeah, in March, the leafy green part will be really obvious. And then the first blossoms will probably be right at the end of March, right at the beginning of April.
This is something to look forward to.
Yeah, they call it winter anticipation. Supposedly there's 3 phases of tulip enjoyment. The planting of them, which is kind of an acquired taste, and then the winter anticipation is the middle phase, and then obviously when they bloom, that's the big show that people are excited about.
How does one plant thousands of tulips. Is your back get sore at some point? Your arms get kind of tired?
Yeah, well, I had a lot of help, but you know, it's just instead of going to a body pump class, you just push dirt around. You know, I find it to be really therapeutic. You know, and especially this winter. You know, for a lot of reasons, it seemed like it was a good thing to do.
There's going to be something about this, and I think we'll always remember. This is going to be something we're going to remember, and I think that's why this will carry on. This is a great vision in a dream you've got here.
Thank you. It's not a story yet until they bloom, but you know, at least.
But it's coming. It's coming, and I can't wait. So most of these are now all in the ground.
Yes, these are the last ones. So I get to start winter anticipation as soon as I get these. These are going to be in a planter so that they'll be in some window boxes on one of the houses on Caroline. And I look forward to that too. It's just kind of a different wrinkle. And then if people are as excited as I expect that they'll be, I think there'll be a lot more support for doing it. Oh, let me say this. I have a friend on Washington Avenue who became interested, and we planted a few tulips in front of her house last year. And then all of her neighbors started talking about it. So Washington Avenue is going to be another little part of the walking tour of the tulips.
Oh, I think
and in some ways it's coordinated with the garden tour, because there were some houses scheduled up there for the garden tour, which they canceled this year, and I think they've postponed it again for next year. But the tulips will be there. And so, you know, of two of the prettier streets in Fredericksburg where people like to walk their pets and stroll with their babies, you know, both of those places. I'd like to think that Lower Caroline is going to be the real showstopper, but the tulips are the thing. You know, it's not about who planted them. You know, it's when they come up. You know, the question is, how much support can they generate for, you know, worthy downtown charities?
Yeah, like downtown greens. Yeah.
Yeah, like downtown greens.